Really, Disney? Really? What the fudge, Disney? Are you serious about doing it? Ugh, I can't believe this. Hello, my people, this is Katie, and this is a rant video, okay? This is a personal rant video. What am I gonna rant about? Well, it's not just one thing, it's more of a group of many things combined. Those things I'm going to talk about, the franchises of a Pixar movie Up and a Disney movie Zootopia. Now before we get to the detail of this rant, I'm going to have to explain how I honestly felt about those two movies. The first one of those I'm going to talk about is Pixar's Up. I'll say that for a Pixar movie, it is highly creative and imaginative by the concept of an old man going on an adventure to his dream place by lifting a house in the sky with thousands of colorful balloons, and the theme of being in the air in the sky. And even the fact that he had a long-term relationship with his wife that passed away in sickness. But when it comes to the writing and the characters and the character development and all of the humor and heart levels and how it is an overall execution in the movie, it's just terrible. I mean, it really is poorly made, even for Pixar studios. And that could be said the same with Disney Zootopia. Ugh, that name. For this movie, it's kind of like movies Disney had made that have focus on anthropomorphic animals, but in a modern yet fictional setting of an animal-themed city. But for some reason, they made nearly all of the animal characters as mammals instead of the whole variety of animals. And it has a message that almost everyone without a confirmed answer to how many people that are known to praise this and Up. The only good thing about this is the effort of the animation. But everything else from this movie, like the other, especially with the writing and majority of the characters, and especially the moments that were made with the genre of comedy, it's honestly just as terrible as the ones from Up. There are a lot of evidence to prove that it did not deserve to have the entitlement of it being a Disney classic, a masterpiece, and a award winner, being ranked higher than most of them or even all of the movies, all of the Disney movies, and animated movies, whether it's released in 2016, 2010 decade, and even in all time. And it never ever deserved to be even said to deserve a praise, awarded, nor to even have a franchise. For a lot of good reasons. There are scenes that are way too scary, it got close to be age restrict friendly, scenes that are over the top and cringy, pop culture references and unoriginal moments, and even characters we're supposed to root for are in between poorly developed and unlikable, with their twist villain being obviously the worst out of all of them with the severely shortest-lived climax I ever seen in a Disney movie. So yeah, unlike what majority of the whole world claimed it to be masterpieces and that most likely perfect, they're both overall serious mixed bags. That not only I want to hate while everyone else remain to love, but they're also the ones I want to hate while I couldn't be able to understand on why would everyone else in the whole wide world to even be allowed to praise it to the point where they can give the titles such as two of the best anime movies and movies of all time, and that they are even important, and that they even deserve stuff like winning the award ceremonies and as best anime features, even saying all those things are even based on opinions.
Do you know how mean it is to disrespect others' opinions?
What are you talking about? Of course I know. This has nothing to do with it. I'm only saying that even then people should have realized that there are plenty of movies, especially animated movies, including some in 2009 and 2016, that can be proven to be a lot better than those two. And besides, those couldn't surpass any movies like The Princess and the Frog and Moana, as they're better Disney movies and movies in general. And they are far from being close to be as good as how they are as the ones in their separate years and even in their separate decades. And also, the movies that rightfully earned their titles as the best anime movies of 2009 and 2016 are Secret Kells and Kubo and the Two Strings. And the real best animated movies in the 2000s and 2010s decades are Spirited Away, Inside Out, Lilo and Stitch, the Toy Story sequels, and all of the Pixar films that even include WALL-E and Incredibles.
Are you serious?
Anyways, sorry if I got off topic by bringing up other movies. Let's talk about how they all started. Basically, I was doing my own things on the internet, and I even checked out some stuff on Twitter. And it led me to see the announcements of Pixar Sub getting a series focusing on Doug called Doug Days. And I see 4 Disney movies getting some TV series. All 5 of them are scheduled to be aired on Disney Plus, and 3 of them I am delayed to watch at once are from the movies The Princess and the Frog, Moana, and Big Hero 6, even though it had a TV series before, though in this case a spin-off focusing on Baymax with the names shared with the show. But with the another movies I found out that there was going to be made are based on Up and Zootopia. I reacted like, oh no. No, Disney, you traitors! And that's how I feel about Zootopia 2 getting announced. Disney, how dare you! Now look, I can understand that there are people out there that want to see more of those two movies. But is it really that needed? Even then, it's not saying much. Both of those movies, while their stories and executions evidently sucked, they necessarily expanded their worlds, and the main characters already achieved their goals at the end of both of them. So the franchises for them are just pointless. And besides, Zootopia doesn't have any requirements to even make itself feel like Disney. If Disney made it come back to their roots at the start of the revival era, then they're supposed to go by their traditions and legacy. Disney's traditions and legacy are hand-drawn animation, stories based on literature, royalty, some romance, musical numbers, magic, charm, and being timeless. I know you guys are going to bring up the fact that they are sometimes do talking animals. Yes, but they work if they use for their fairy tale movies with the animals written to be their sidekicks. And when they did movies that only focus on animals, they made it work by making it the way they did with Bambi and The Lion King. And if you bring up that they're good at making movies that take place in modern times, well, they're not. Why? Because they're done to depend on how many elements they're lacking. I like some modern setting movies and talking animal movies, but I like the ones that will also contain some music, romance, and elements that make themselves charming and even feel timeless. The movies that don't go by any of them will not work. It's too rare and unlikely for Disney to achieve making movies that like these traditional things, except for Lilo and Stitch, Wreck-It Ralph, and Big Hero 6. I thought Disney learned their lesson from making those two bad films, and I'm glad that I skipped on watching Strange World. The first one is the recent Zootopia Plus. This one, oh my gosh. This is more of an anthology series that focuses on a variety of characters. I only picked on one or two characters that I can find at least just tolerable, but not with everyone else. And no, I'm not watching it, and for good reason not to. And now for Up's franchise, oddly enough, there is a short film that focuses on Doug, and it's called Doug's Special Mission. And it's closest to show a backstory for one character, Doug himself. And when Doug's Days is announced, I thought it's going to focus on his backstory, but much to my heartbreak, it's written to center both Doug and Carl, while it's a follow-up to the Up movie. So this series is basically a sequel to the movie. Oh, God. And we also announced that we're going to have an Up follow-up short called Carl's Date, and it's going to be released within the next Pixar film, Elemental. Are they kidding me? This is like the biggest slap in the face to the character Ellie Ferguson, who was a wife to Carl. Even more than the fact that Pixar had to win her as her never having the ability to have kids, and her getting killed off from achieving her long life dream of going to Paradise Falls. Why make franchises to those films that are not good? Is anyone in studios or companies looking at everyone's reception of the movies? Are they looking in the websites and pages that show the users on YouTube, DeviantArt, and anywhere else, like Anime Shafrilla Productions with Wicked Binge, Licorice, Cellspecs, Black Critic Guy, Jack Hammer, and pretty much everyone else, or who's for some reason more popular? Are their lawyers pay attention to those users and their posts? Did they pay attention to every award ceremony and every film attended to win or nominated, and let the facts of what wins or how many wins did each film get and go by these choices of what they make? Did they look at the internet or any of these things and decide to go like, oh, so almost everyone on the internet that claimed that Up and Zootopia is better than almost every movie we made? Well, let's make franchises out of them. Oh, I really hope it's not the case, because it would make me feel bad for the films I like, and to have a hard time of respecting opinions.
Are you serious?
Why not make what people like me want you to make? I bet that Disney studios and companies just don't know I exist, or anyone that dislikes Up and Zootopia existed, or that people from these places just don't care. Well, that just don't help themselves to be bigger people, and I know that not every movie, including the ones that I love, don't need to have franchises that consist of sequels and TV shows, and some movies, including what I love, are considered masterpieces, and they need to be viewed as their own things, and they needed to be remain forever in cinema history, so they don't need to be touched at all, so leave them alone. Well, yeah, but that doesn't stop Disney and Pixar from making those franchises anyways, don't they? And besides, some movies that are considered masterpieces don't all have all the world building and everything expand upon. Surely there are movies like Ratatouille and Bug's Life. They are in a range between decent and to being actual masterpieces, and even if they are, thanks to at least nitpick from those films, where they could have at least needed a little fixing, but it doesn't mean that they should have like sequels or TV shows based on them. Because we know the worlds from these films and we have pretty much everything expanded upon. Though I would love to know what will happen to the chefs and waiters after they left Gusto's restaurant, but that's besides my point. But for movies like Inside Out, Moana, The Princess and Frog, and even, at least for my guilty pleasure, Brave, we don't know everything. We don't know the whole world that's based on these movies. We don't know what's beyond the places like Dunbruch. We don't know what the 3 clans that are MacGuffin, Macintosh, and Dingwall are actually like. We don't know what places like Prince Nefine's Kingdom Maldonia is like. We don't know where Moana's whole tribe in Motunui were heading to at the very end of the Moana movie. And we don't know what will happen to the Inside Out characters when Riley turns 12 years old. So maybe making sequels or TV shows that could help resolve world building and possible events. But with movies like Beauty and the Beast and Lion King and The Little Mermaid, they're standalone movies with story writing being based on stories, and they have happy endings. They don't need franchises. But they got franchises anyways, especially for the crappy remakes and sequel movies that are made by Disney Tunes before it's shut down. And I'm still waiting to hear from the company or someone who knew about the company and maybe who worked there give me the confirmed answers that if any of those direct-to-video movies are canon or not. And the answers to why would any of them be canon to the classics, especially when a company is making this current generation to focus on pretending to go by light that everything Disney Toon related never even existed. With Up and Zootopia, they expand their worlds and the main characters achieve their goals in each separate original movies. And same with the movies like The Good Dinosaur, Onward, and Soul. They had to expand their environments and all the protagonists in those movies achieve their goals. And the movies like Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and even all the Toy Story movies have sequels, and they already expand every single part of their worlds, and they achieve their goals, and give a satisfying conclusions and resolution to their conflicts. With movies like Inside Out, we don't have enough of that stuff. Before you bring up what Sadness said, which is, it's long-term memory, it's endless walls and corridors and stuff. Well, even so, I still need something new and exciting to happen if the fans of the franchise to happen. Not with Up and Zootopia. We all know what their worlds are like. Zootopia has Sahara Square, Tundra Town, Little Rontina, Rainforest District, Bunny Burrow. You know what I'm talking about. And Judy achieved her goal of being a bunny cop. And Carl officially went to Paradise Falls. Abandoned his old house here. Technically moved on like Ellie wrote him by signing her last words on her adventure book. Every modern CGI film is getting their franchise, but there are some modern 2D films that deserve a good franchise too. I don't care about the box office performances, well besides the amount to support the filmmakers and their families. Seriously guys, this is how you're treating your great potential of being good company and your properties these days. You're just throwing them in the waste and you don't care about them at all, and you instead go for the worst ideas and corporate choices to show you care about specific others and not counting everyone including me. And specific ones' choices and rankings of movies and shows being the ones that matter to you, only for you to look at them online or anywhere else and to show you cared about yourselves and how much money and awards you're getting. And you're still proving that you don't even care that the true Disney legacy and traditions are going to die permanently, including you giving Up and Zootopia franchises and every other movie that only except the ones I mentioned that I want to see franchises by either sequels or TV shows, especially Inside Out. But if it's true that you're giving these things to Princess and Frog, Moana, and Inside Out, you're going to make them happen. You cannot have any legal right to delay, and you cannot have any legal right to even cancel them at all for no reason. There has to be a matter of time when you have a heart enough to make a show for Princess and the Frog to happen. There has to be a matter of time when you have the heart enough to make a show for Moana to happen. There has to be a matter of time when you have the heart enough to make a sequel or show for Brave to happen. There has to be a matter of time when you have the heart enough to make a sequel or show for Wall-E to happen. There has to be a matter of time when you have a heart enough to make a sequel or a show for Luca to happen. And maybe for Turning Red. And there has to be, and I mean there has to be, the matter of time when you have the heart enough to make a sequel or show, but mostly a sequel to Inside Out. You announced Inside Out 2 to be happening, and for the production of it started. When you announced it to be happening, you better make it happening, and you better complete the production of it, and you better make it officially release it to the public. I'm watching you, Disney. If you don't have a heart and mind to at all to watch this video, and take my word for it that then thank you. That's all for now. I'm sorry to all of you, my friends and viewers, have to hear this from me. I just need to make this video to let all of it out and to get my honest negative feelings based on Disney's announcements and changes off of my chest. And I can understand if it's not a great one about me, or if you do not like hearing me saying all this, especially about the franchise of certain movies, because if you feel what you feel and just want to point stuff out of this video, you can always tell me about it in the comment section, and I can improve upon this. But if you like it, and if it's actually fine, please give a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell for notifications. And also tell me, what Disney and Pixar movie do you want to see to have a sequel or a TV show of? And do you have any answers to any of the Disney Toon sequels being canon or not? And do you have any answers to why would any of them be canon, but only any of them are canon? Please write your answers down below, and I'll see you again soon. Aga maga!